Nepal is burning. The government has fallen. The Prime Minister has resigned. The Parliament and the Supreme Court is on fire. The situation is so bad that the ex-Prime Minister's wife was burnt alive inside the house. And the country is under armed control. But what really happened in Nepal? Is it just because of social media ban? Or is there something bigger at play? Let's break it down. On 8th of September 2025, thousands of people filled the streets of Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal. The protests grew so big that within days the government of Nepal collapsed. But here's the shocking part. These protests weren't started by the opposition parties. They were organized by the NGO called Hami Nepal, an NGO formed in 2015. Now, this raises a question. Can an NGO alone topple a government, or is there a wider conspiracy at play? If we zoom out, things look even more stranger. In 2022, the Sri Lankan government has collapsed. In 2024, the Bangladesh government has collapsed. And now, in 2025, Nepal. All in the same region. Coincidence? Or a foreign hand? To check for conspiracy, many people asked who funded this NGO. Hami Nepal's financial records are public. The donations are from local Nepalese and some foreign companies. On paper, nothing looks suspicious. So why did Nepal explode in anger? It all began with the protesters marching peacefully towards the parliament. Police tried to stop them using tear gas and rubber bullets. The clash escalated. Protesters stormed the parliament complex. Then came the turning point. Police opened fire. 19 protesters were killed. Over 400 were injured. This tragedy fueled even more rage. Protests spread across the country like wildfire. But why were people on the streets in the first place? There are 4 reasons: unemployment, corruption, nepotism, and the social media ban. Unemployment. Nepal's unemployment is very severe. In 2024, it stood at 12.6%. Jobs are so less that millions of Nepalese work abroad. In fact, remittances money sent back by the workers abroad makes up one of the highest percentages of GDP in the world. This is the list of countries with the highest remittances sent in terms of percentage of GDP. Nepal stands at 4th position worldwide. People in Nepal has no jobs to do, so most of them work abroad. The situation is so desperate that over 15,000 Nepalese even fought in Russia-Ukraine war just to earn some money. Adding to this, there's a nepotism angle. While ordinary people are struggling, politicians' children live luxurious lives abroad. With expensive cars, designer clothes, and fancy dinners, these videos and photos went viral. They were posted online and they went viral. This led to even bigger outrage in people who are already frustrated with the situation in Nepal. While the ordinary are leading a difficult life, couldn't even find a proper job. The sons and daughters of politicians are living a fancy life and posting it online. And the frustrated citizens began trending #NepoKids. They made comparison videos of ordinary youth and privileged political families. Adding to the already difficult situation, corruption and instability even made it worse. Nepal was a monarchy till 2008, and in 2008, Nepal became a democracy after People's Movement. But this resulted in unstable government. In the span of 17 years of democracy, 13 times the prime ministers have changed. For comparison, Nepal's neighboring country India has only 2 prime ministers in the same time span. The political capital of Nepal is surrounded around 3 major parties: Nepal's Congress Party, Communist Party of Nepal United Marxists and Leninists, Communist Party of Nepal Maoist Center. Within these parties, the power is distributed in the last 13 years. They, in alliance with small parties, form the government. That lead to collapse of government in quick successions. Adding to this, the 3 heads of major parties, Pushpa Kamal, Sher Bahadur and KP Sharma, all faces corruption allegations. And the final nail in the coffin? Ban on social media. Nepal government has introduced a policy that requires mandatory establishment of local presence and follow the guidelines given by the government. The government has told this policy is to eliminate the misinformation, hate speech, and frauds. This policy was introduced in 2023 and the social media companies failed to comply. That is the reason why more than 20 social media apps were banned, which included giants like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and X. All major social media platforms were banned except for TikTok. Even though the government has different reasons for banning them, this affected the local Nepalese. Nepal has a total population of 3 crores, that is 30 million, out of which 70 lakh people, that is 7 million people, work outside Nepal, which is 1 in 4 people. So social media like WhatsApp acts as a key instrument for local Nepalese to communicate with their families. The social media ban ignited the fire. Considering all the above issues, the protest starting point was the ban of social media. But the protest reasons were corruption, nepotism, and unemployment. The protesters from Nepal have a different argument on the ban of social media. They claim that the ban on social media is to stop the viral trolls on the government and nepotism inside the country. Right now, the Nepal has no government and it is under the army control, and the protests are still continuing. Right now, the Gen Z protesters have chosen the leader. It's Sushila Karke. She is the former Chief Justice of Nepal and a strong anti-corruption activist. She is already in talks with the army to lead the country. But here's the twist. The protest movement has split into 2 factions. The second group is supporting Kulman Gesing, former head of Electricity Authority. They are proposing him as the temporary leader of Nepal. They argue that the constitution does not allow an ex-chief justice to become the prime minister. And also, at the age of 73, Sushila Karke may not be the right choice. But that's not all. This is actually the second wave of protests. The first wave of protests happened in April against the corruption of Nepal's prime minister. These protesters demanded something completely different. They wanted the return of the king as the head of the state. So, no matter who takes the charge now, the challenge is huge. Why? Because none of these proposed leaders have political parties or a cabinet or even government experience. Whoever becomes the prime minister will be walking on a tightrope. The choice of next prime minister could reveal if there is a foreign involvement in the crisis. Nepal political realm revolves around 3 major factions. The communists, who are usually pro-China, the Congress party, once neutral but now also leaning towards China, and the royalists, whose stance is unclear. So overall, the Nepal politics tilts towards China, which means if pro-China government is toppled, many suspect the US could be behind it. We saw something very similar in Bangladesh last year. Sheikh Hasina, who is usually pro-India and slowly tilting towards China, was removed after violent protests over a reservation bill. The chaos paved the ways for Muhammad Yunus, a leader with strong ties with US. Muhammad Yunus studied and worked in United States. He even received Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2009. Now, he is the person in charge in Bangladesh, while Sheikh Hasina has taken refuge in India. Many experts believe this was a US move to counter China's influence. So looking at Nepal, people are asking the same question. Could this be a part of foreign plan? From India's point of view, the neighborhood looks dangerous. Myanmar had a military coup in 2021 and Sri Lanka was collapsed in 2022, and last year Bangladesh government was overthrown, and now Nepal. Almost all Indian neighbors started as a democracy, but today coups and collapses surround India on every side. So the big question is, are these just a coincidence or a part of bigger conspiracy targeting India? Could India be the next target? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Nepal is standing at a crossroad. The world is watching closely. Let's hope peace and stability returns soon. Hope Nepal returns to stability very soon.